Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to another Mad Meta Magic. We try to make the magic meta mad. Now, at the time of this video, there are no Storm decks listed on any of the metagame sites that I can find that have won recently. I've got a feeling that just playing Storm is worse than playing Blitz, and that's probably why. Storm also relies on creature-based enablers, Baral and Goblin Electromancer, so there's a decent chance that they just get like removed versus Blitz, and then, what do? But we will be playing Dragonstorm today. So for those of you that don't know, Dragonstorm is a 9-mana sorcery that says Storm, search your library for a dragon permanent card, put it onto the battlefield, and then shuffle. So if we can Dragonstorm X3, we win the game on the spot. So really all that generally requires is like Baral, Ritual, Ironcrag Feat, Dragonstorm. And then we win on the spot, because what we get is Dragonlord Dromoka, so our opponent can't cast spells during our turn and allow us to resolve the rest of our dragons through any amount of removal. Dragonlord Kolagon, so all creatures we have haste. And then Atarka World Render, so whenever a dragon you control attacks, it gains double strike. And if we get up to the 4th storm, we also have Niv-Mizzet Perrin, which is basically unbeatable for a control deck. It's something we can resolve against control, and then they're just going to be sad. Other than that, we have just a whole bunch of consistency tools. We don't use the Grave. We don't have Gifts Ungiven. So we're maxed out on cantrips between Serum Visions and Sleight of Hand. We have a single Peer Through the Depths to help us really dig when we need to, and See Beyond, drawing us 2 cards, shuffling a dragon or a Dragonstorm back into our deck. And really, that's it. The only other thing is we have sort of a couple of rainbow lands in our mana base, just in case we do need to like ritual out a Dragonlord Dromoka to gain life or something like that. It happens on occasion. Out of the sideboard, we have 4 Ley Lines of Sanctity, just to help against burn, discard, that sort of stuff. We have a Braid and Lightning Bolt as removal. We have Weather the Storm, which I'm praying is going to be enough to help us stay alive. 2 Niv-Mizzet Perrins to help against control, and then finally 3 Defense Grids. This is one of the key factors to playing this deck over regular Storm. I like talking about the competitive advantage of decks and different variations of decks. And one of the reasons that I really, really like this Dragonstorm list I brewed up is because the competitive advantage of playing Dragonstorm over regular Storm is like 2 or 3-fold. Number 1, if you cast Dragonstorm, odds are you win. Any redundant copies of Dragonstorm just help you resolve Dragonstorm. So the higher the storm count, technically the better, because your opponent can't counter them all. Number 2, you don't play counter spells. You play solely on your own turn because some of your rituals are sorceries, like Ironcrag Feat. And because of this, you could play Defense Grid. And Defense Grid basically mana leaks every one of your opponent's spells that they cast on your turn. So it completely nullifies a lot of counter spells. And this is huge, because it means you can just focus on casting your spells. You don't have to dilute the combo. You don't have to play reactionary. You just play Defense Grid and you're good to go. And the third competitive advantage to playing Dragonstorm is people generally think, especially if they beat you in game 1, the sideboard plan involves Grave Hate, because Storm plays Gifts Ungiven, they play Past in Flames, and you don't. So frequently, your opponent will not sideboard correctly versus this deck, as long as Blue-Red Storm is a deck that is currently in the metagame. So here it may not be the case, but those 3 reasons are the 3 reasons that I like playing this deck. So without any further rambling, I'm going to go ahead and take this into a Modern League, and I'll see you guys in round 1. All right, we're on the play. Opponent is playing Lurrus, so they're probably Blitz. I think this hand is fine. We do get a couple of redraws with See Beyond, so I'm going to keep this. We have no bolts or braids in the main deck. We purely have to be on a combo plan. So play Steam Vents tapped, pass the turn. I'm going to play Blood Crypt. Okay, so this is probably Death Shadow of some variation. We get Thought Seized. Opponent is probably a little bit confused. Oh, the other thing is Niv-Mizzet actually is a Storm engine, because if you play Niv-Mizzet, you can just cast a whole bunch of rituals and draw a million cards, and ping your opponent for every spell that you play. Okay, opponent plays Thoughtseize, then they played 2 Mishra's Baubles, crack both immediately. We untap, they draw some cards. We draw Sleight of Hand. So go ahead and Sleight of Hand. Take Manamorphose, Serum Visions to the bottom. Play Scalding Tarn. Crack it, get our other Steam Vents tapped. Pass the turn. I could have waited on that crack, in case my opponent is playing a Scourge of the Skyclaves list. But I was going to have to lose life for my second land anyway. Okay. Well, we draw Mana Confluence. Play Fiery Islet, pass the turn. So next turn we'll be at 5 mana. If I draw another Ritual, I can Manamorphose out Niv-Mizzet. I'm not sure that that really does anything. Okay, they bolt us to increase the size of their Scourge. I almost said Luris, that's not correct. Okay, we get Inquisitioned. They probably take Ritual, although taking a Manamorphose for a redraw is fairly fine. They take the Ritual. Okay, with them taking the Ritual, I'm going to cycle this land. Because we have to hit a cost reducer. There's a cost reducer. We draw the Ritual anyway. So let me think. If I play Baral, then I play Mana Confluence. I can go from 1 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5. And I need to hit something else in the top 2 cards. I think it's worth it. So, Desperate Ritual. Manamorphose into blue-blue. Serum Visions. Drawing Fiery Islet, putting these 2 cards to the bottom. Manamorphose into red-blue. Alright, we drew nothing. Maybe I should have waited then. We're probably just dead to Temur Battle Rage, but the good news is we are in a much better position post-sideboarding to play against our opponent's deck. They have Fatal Push. They attack us for 7. We go to 4. And we don't draw anything. I can technically cycle a Fiery Islet, though I don't know what I can draw here. That would actually get me out of this mess. Sea Beyond. Okay. We'll go ahead and concede. So, we don't have any removal that interacts with what our opponent's doing. So, I'm probably going to bring in a Braid. On the off chance they have Damping Spheres. I'm going to bring in these 8 cards. I only saw black and red. I did not see any counter spells or anything like that, so I'm not going to bring in Defense Grid. I don't think Niv-Mizzet is necessary here. I'm going to cut Pier. I think an Electromancer, 1 Dragonstorm, a Sleight of Hand to Serum Visions. Actually, maybe I do want Niv-Mizzet, because if they have Damping Sphere, it would be better to just, like, resolve Niv-Mizzet and draw a bunch of cards. I don't like trimming Dragonstorm, but this is the problem in sideboarding with a pure combo list. Yeah, I think if my opponent has Damping Sphere... Alright, I'll bring in 1 Abrade. I think if my opponent has Damping Sphere, they're probably just going to win. I'll cut 1 Ritual. I don't want to cut too much card draw, but that's like the number 1 thing I have to cut, so... Hopefully we can get like a big Weather the Storm off and then buy a ton of time. So we have no Dig, but we have a Leyline of Sanctity, and that's kind of a big deal. The number 1 way they have to interact with us is Hand Hate. We have a couple of our better Rituals in hand as well. So, in reality, all that needs to happen here is if we can draw like Baral and Dragonstorm, we're good to go. Opponent plays Verdant Catacombs, cracks Verdant Catacombs, gets an Overgrown Tomb untapped. We untap. We draw another Iron Crag Feat. That's not very helpful, so I wouldn't mind a Sea Beyond. Play Mana Confluence. Opponent shocks a Blood Crypt. 2 mana. Are they playing Scourge? Scourge just dies. Okay, they do have Damping Sphere, so that's annoying. We draw a Tarka. Pass the turn. I could Ritual out in a Tarka. I think I need another land for that, though. Or a cost reducer. We draw Weather the Storm. So I can Ritual to 4, but I can't play Iron Crag Feat till I have 5 mana. Alright, pass the turn. Alternatively, if my opponent casts like 2 or 3 spells, I could Pyretic Ritual and then Weather the Storm. Opponent goes to combat, attacks us for 1, hits us to 19, then passes. We untap, we draw Manamorphose, which doesn't really help. Pass the turn. They're going to Assassin's Trophy our Leyline. Okay, get an island. Opponent untaps. They go to combat, attack us for 3, so no blocks. We take 3 and go to 16. They have a second Tarmogoyf. Is it worth doing the Weather the Storm play? So if I Pyretic Ritual, I go up to 5 mana, then Manamorphose would cost 3, so it would go down to 4, and then Weather the Storm would cost 4. And then if I draw a land, I can just Ironcrag Feat a Tarka. Yeah, I think it's fine. If they have another Assassin's Trophy, we'll be a bit sad, but there's not a lot I can do about that. Manamorphose into red. Then we Weather the Storm, untap, draw Leyline. I could play Leyline. Since I didn't draw a land, I think I have to, actually. The other benefits to the Rainbow mana base, although our mana base is supremely painful, that Weather the Storm effectively gained us 2 life. Maybe that meant I needed to keep the Pyretic Ritual in hand and just go for, like, the big Atarka or something. If we can get our opponent to lose 3 more life, and then not be holding another Assassin's Trophy, I think Atarka is just lethal. They Inquisition themselves, they have Bolt, Battle Rage, Fatal Push, Thoughtseize. They Inquisition Death Shadow. This is just to get their Tarmogoyfs to be bigger. They hit us for 10. If I could play Dromoka, it would be better. Okay, let me think about this. I could play the Mountain. So 4 mana, I could play Ironcrag Feat. I lose 2 life, I go to 10. I'm just dead to Battle Rage. Yeah, I'm dead to Battle Rage because I can't play Dromoka. Dromoka could survive the first hit of Temur Battle Rage, which would matter a lot. Tarka would not. And Battle Rage would grant Trample, too. Yeah, maybe I was supposed to save that Pyretic Ritual, but I think, honestly, the way that I played this game, I think was fine. We just got a bit unlucky. So, I'll see you guys in round 2. Alright, round 2 will be on the draw. This hand's a little bit slow, but at least the mana base isn't painful. Opponent did not reveal a companion. They play a forest. Into a birds. Okay. So start Gemstone Mine. Let's go ahead and Sleight of Hand. Take Fiery Islet. Pass the turn. Opponent plays Wall of Roots. So this is probably... Never mind, I was going to say Heliod combo, but that is incorrect. Play Scalding Tarn. Pass the turn. So this could be the Yawgmoth deck. It definitely is. It's the only green-black deck I know that plays any amount of these cards. Strangleroot Geist. So they basically abuse Undying to go near infinite with Yawgmoth. They attack us for 3. We go down to 17. They play another Young Wolf. And a third Young Wolf. Okay, Wolftron. Gets Steam Vents tapped. Okay, time to start cycling Islets. Niv-Mizzet. Pass the turn. We're going to discard Mana Confluence. It's not looking good for us. We take 5. Go to 11. Did they just draw Yawgmoth? Eldritch Evolution. Well, they found Yawgmoth. So we're not dead. They don't have like a Zullaport Cutthroat or anything, but they can draw up to their life total in cards if they wanted. Okay, we draw Ironcrag Feat. Okay, I need to draw another ritual, and I have to draw it off this Manamorphose. So Manamorphose. Okay, opponent's going to do some shenanigans in response. Opponent, yep, still drawing cards. I mean, yeah, I'm going to cast Serum Visions, but it's kind of too late. Another Desperate Ritual. If I'd have bet at 4 mana this turn, it would work, but yeah. Okay. It was worth trying. Okay. So versus this opponent, we definitely want Lightning Bolts and Abrades. We may want Niv-Mizzet, and we may want Weather the Storm. But my opponent has an arbitrary infinite damage combo. So Weather the Storm I don't actually think is that good. It only kind of buys us time against their primary game plan. I'm going to cut 2 Sleight of Hands, Appear, and a Serum Visions. Try it like this. Alright, I would like to play first. This hand is not keepable. Neither is this one. One bad thing about this deck is it does not mulligan particularly well. So I need to put back Kolaghan and Dragonstorm here because I actually have to draw enough cards to get to where I need to go. So we're going to go ahead and fetch up a Steam Vents, Serum Visions, draw Mana Confluence. Do I want to draw a third land here? I kind of do. So I'll put Scalding Tarn on top. Pass the turn. Opponent leads on Blooming Marsh, plays Birds. We draw a land. Fetch. Shock. Play Electromancer. Pass the turn. I'm kind of expecting removal. If my opponent just plays like a Strangleroot Geist, that's fine. Okay, they're going to attack us for 2. That's fine. No blocks. Take 2. Then they play a Young Wolf. We untap. Draw Desperate Ritual. So I'm going to lead on Sea Beyond here. Put back Electromancer. Play Mana Confluence. Play Baral. Okay. I think we just need to draw Dragonstorm now. We might need another ritual on top of that. I apologize if I'm a little bit sniffly. I don't know if I mentioned this or not, but I'm recovering from my second dose of COVID vaccine. I was completely out of commission, which is why the videos that have been going up are out of order, because I wasn't pre-recorded ahead long enough. I actually recorded two days in advance, because I had some other responsibilities I needed to take care of, and then just like ran out of recordings, which is why I was putting up some of my emergency like vintage cube stuff. Eidolon of Rhetoric. That's annoying. That is not tech I expected from them. Play another Electromancer, pass the turn. I guess I'm fine just getting more cost reduction. They have Chord. Man, Storm isn't even a deck right now. Why are you playing this in your sideboard? Ugh. They get birds. Untap. They got Yawgmoth. Yep. Okay. Neither a Braid nor Bolt can kill this either. So we're actually, I think, dead to that, because we don't have a way we can win. We don't have a way to remove it unless my opponent attacks with it, which they shouldn't. Okay. I think blocking like this is pretty close to free. Now, if my opponent has Fatal Push, they can just kill an Electromancer, and there's nothing we can do about it. Dismember works too. Oh, you know, they so often use this on their own creatures, I forget that it can target anything. So never mind. We're actually just dead. Yep. Okay, I'm not gonna play this out, because there's no way for us to win. Maybe we need to be playing Nature's Claim or Natural State. Like, we are 5-color, so we can get away with it. It's possible a Braid is not the best sideboard option for us. Heck, we could even be playing the new Rip Apart spell. I just haven't had the time to update this list. I'll see you guys in round 3. Alrighty, round 3, and we are very, very close to the full combo. Play Fiery Islet. Serum Visions. We gotta find a land. Well, we found a Steam Vents. Sleight of Hand to the bottom, put Manamorphose on top. If we can land this cost reducer, we're gonna be in a good place. Okay, opponent leads on Blackcleave Cliffs. We untap, we draw Manamorphose. Play Steam Vents. Untapped. I think I am just gonna run out a naked Electromancer. If they've got Fatal Push or Lightning Bolt, then they've got Fatal Push or Lightning Bolt. They have the Lightning Bolt. They untap. They play Wooded Foothills. They crack it. They get an Overgrown Tomb untapped. This might just be regular Jund. Yep. Okay, we untap. Draw Iron Crag Feet. Oh, they would have been dead this turn. So cycle Manamorphose, adding red-blue. Cycle Manamorphose, adding red-blue. We find a mountain. I'm gonna Sea Beyond. Put back the second Iron Crag Feet. Play a mountain. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. Plays Blackcleave Cliffs. Plays Liliana of the Veil. Makes us discard. We'll discard Serum Visions. I think if we draw a land, we win. Opponent hits us for 4, we go to 11. That works too. So play Electromancer. Manamorphose, Desperate Ritual, Iron Crag Feet, Dragonstorm. Then we get Dramoka, Atarka, Kolagon, Niv-Mizzet. Fail to find. Go to combat. Kill our opponent. Nice. So versus Jund, I think we definitely want Ley Lines. And we may actually want Niv-Mizzet here. So let's cut some cantrips. I think I am gonna bring in one more Niv-Mizzet and drop one Pyretic Ritual for it. Okay, almost. Let's mulligan. Still not quite. Mulligan. I think we're at a better point to just go to Leyline now. Alright, we'll keep. Put back 4 cards. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Gemstone Mine being our only land is not great. Opponent leads on Raging Ravine. We draw Electromancer. Play Gemstone Mine. Play Serum Visions. Sea Beyond to the bottom. Shivan Reef to the top. Pass the turn. Opponent plays Blackcleave Cliffs into a Tarmogoyf. We play Shivan Reef. Pass the turn. Now we just need to draw Rituals and Dragonstorm before our opponent kills us. Never mind. Opponent has Damping Sphere. They always seem to have Damping Sphere. Storm's not a deck. I guess it's just good against Blitz, I guess. Sea Beyond. I'm going to put back Desper Ritual. Play an island. Pass the turn. Opponent plays Renin 6. Attacks us for 1 and upticks on nothing. We go to 18. We draw a mountain. Play Electromancer. Pass the turn. Opponent has Fatal Push. They attack us for 3. We go to 15. We untap. We draw a Leyline. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. Plays Verdant Catacombs. Cracks Verdant Catacombs. If this is Liliana, we just have to scoop. It is not Liliana. It is Seasoned Pyromancer. Discarding Double Bolt. Alright. They hit us for 3. We untap. We draw Niv-Mizzet. If we could play him, that'd be great. Pass the turn. They play Verdant Catacombs. Crack it for a swamp. They Inquisition themselves, putting Grafdigger's Cage in the grave, 7, 8, 9 damage. And then they're going to Plague Engineer on Goblin. Yeah, Damping Sphere affects you too. Don't worry, I always forget it. So, they hit us for 9. We go to 3. Okay. So we concede. I'll bring in the Abrades, cut the Niv-Mizzet, and guess 1 Electromancer. Actually, 1 Baral. Baral's legendary. Alright, we'll play first. That's not keepable. This technically is, but we're just going to get Thoughtseized and completely wrecked. So I'm going to go to 5. I really hope we have a Leyline. Alright, I got to keep this. I can't mulligan any further. Put back Mana Confluence. And I guess I'm going to put back Electromancer. Yeah, the competitive disadvantage of this deck is it does not mulligan very well. Take a Braid, I guess. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. They play Raging Ravine. We draw Shivan Reef. Play Shivan Reef. Pass the turn. Opponent plays a Wooded Foothills. Cracks Wooded Foothills. Gets an Overgrown Tomb untapped. Plays Damping Sphere. Well, we came prepared. We untap. Draw Sea Beyond. Play Fiery Islet. Play Sea Beyond. Put back Serum Visions. I kind of just want to draw the lands right now. Pass the turn. Croxa, they're going to force us to discard, so we discard Manamorphose. They play a Stomping Ground untapped. Okay. We draw Niv-Mizzet. Play Steam Vents tapped. Pass the turn. If they force us to discard again, we discard Ironcrag Feet. That is if we have a choice. I don't think I'm going to be cycling any Fiery Islets here. Opponent plays Baron Moor tapped. They play a very scary-looking Tarmogoyf. We draw Electromancer. Play Electromancer. They definitely have Lightning Bolt. They've been playing as though they do, and they shocked the Stomping Grounds when they had nothing to do with it, so there's the Bolt. Opponent untaps. Okay, that probably means we're dead. Yep. Okay. We're dead on board. And even if I could, like, cycle into an Abrade, yeah, I wouldn't be able to get rid of the Damping Sphere. Alright, well, I'll see you guys in round 4. Alright, round 4, and we're on the play. I think I'm okay keeping this because we can see beyond Koligan back into the deck. But if my opponent starts Thoughtseize and takes Koligan, there goes the combo. We would be on the backup plan of just getting like Niv-Mizzet or whatever other dragons we have left. Which would not be great, but can work still, technically. With as powerful as Niv-Mizzet is. Also, I apologize for the color balance on my camera being off. I'm in a different shirt than when I started the day. And my camera apparently doesn't like that. Maybe if I sit a little bit closer. There we go. Alright, we'll lead on Steam Vents tapped. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. They did mulligan to 6. So they play a Ketria Triome. Alright. We untap. We draw Serum Visions, okay. Play Shivan Reef. Cast Sea Beyond. Put back Koligan. Pass the turn. Opponent's playing real slow. Opponent plays Bauble. Cracks Bauble. Polluted Delta. Okay, this is interesting. there's not a ton of decks that play the combination of cards my opponent is playing. We're going to play an island and Serum Visions. We draw Manamorpho. Dragonstorm to the bottom. I will leave Desperate Ritual on top. Pass the turn. We are very close to the combo. We just need to hope that our opponent taps out for something and doesn't have Force of Negation. Zagoth Triome. Okay, my opponent appears to be a 5-color list, though not necessarily. So the thing is, if we actually resolve, like if we put all of the copies of Dragonstorm on the stack, basically no counterspell saves our opponent. So we have 1, 2, 3 taking us to 5 mana, and going from 5 to 8 mana. We are 1 mana off Dragonstorm. Play Fiery Islet. I'm gonna pass the turn. We should be fine to just wait and see if we can force our opponent to do something. So they crack Polluted Delta. They get a Watery Grave, tapped. If our opponent correctly puts us on Storm, generally the idea when you play against Storm and you're a control player is not to counter every spell they cast. It's to counter the payoff spell at the end of the first bit of rituals. So if I were my opponent, I might counter Ironcrag Feat. But the rider on Ironcrag Feat is really tempting. You can only cast 1 more spell this turn. So my opponent may go, oh, I can just counter that spell. And in general, when you're playing against Storm, you want to counter the Past in Flames. You want to counter the Gifts Ungiven. You want to counter the spell that gives them all of the cards they need to actually win. Because it's usually a tipping point in their mana. And if our opponent puts us on Storm and recognizes that that's what they're supposed to do, they will play incorrectly and we will resolve Dragonstorm and win. If my opponent does not recognize that as correct, just tries to counter everything we try and play, which is kind of like the noob approach to playing Control versus Storm. And it's not necessarily incorrect. You can absolutely win that way. I'm by no means like calling my opponent inexperienced or anything like that. I'm saying like an experienced player playing Control versus Storm will try and play in the way that I'm describing. And if my opponent is an experienced player having played that matchup before, we might have a getcha with it. We'll see. That'll be exciting because it'll be like a free win if that happens. I've had it happen before playing this deck in the other videos that I've got on it. So if you want, check through some old Mad Meta Magics, because we were definitely doing better with this deck previously in a slightly different meta game. Opponent is stopped on their second main phase. I mean, if they just like tap out for Jace the Mind Sculptor here, we're probably good to go. Like I said, unless they like Force of Negation or counterspell the Ironcrag Feat, that would be the concern. Opponent is still doing nothing. Well, I'll pause the recording and bring it back up if they come back. Still nothing. And we won. Apparently our opponent just decided they weren't going to play for 10 minutes. You know what? I'll take the victory. We had it in hand. I'll see you guys in round 5. All right. Round 5, and we are against Obosh the Prey Piercer. This is as close to, I think, a decent start as we can have, other than like the full combo versus a burn matchup. So I'm going to try keeping this, but there's a good chance we still just get overrun. So lead on island, and we're going to go Serum Visions because it digs deeper. Sleight of Hand's better when you're looking for something specific and quick. Atarka to the bottom, Mana Confluence to the top. I do want to draw red mana. Okay, opponent had no 1-drop, which is pretty good. They play a Spikefield Cave tapped. We draw Mana Confluence. Play an island. I'm going to go with Sea Beyond here. I'm going to avoid paying life for mana for as long as I can. Okay, we really just need, like, Dragonstorm. We're very close to having everything. Magus of the Moon. That is perfectly acceptable. Okay, we'll Sleight of Hand. Take Electromancer. Then we'll Sea Beyond. Put back Shivan Reef. Pass the turn. Now that actually makes our mana base less painful. They hit us for 2. They go up to 4 mana. I assume they put Obosh in their hand. They play Blood Moon. Alright. We draw Fiery Islet. Cast Serum Visions. We draw Dragonlord Dramoka. I don't need a third Desperate Ritual. Do I? I can, like, Desperate Ritual, Manamorphose, Dramoka. But I think I just put all this to the bottom. I think I'm just looking for Dragonstorm, really. It's unlikely I actually need Dromoka specifically in this matchup, as long as I have the other 3 dragons in the deck. Okay, opponent plays Relic. They make us exile. So this looks like a big red or medium red. Oh, this is this might be, what is it, M. Hayashi's list? There's a list floating around for mono red that's actually playing Igneous Inspiration, either as a budget Bone Crusher giant, or in addition to it. Okay, we draw Niv-Mizzet. I guess this we can just do the Niv-Mizzet thing here. So if I splice Desperate Ritual, I don't know if this list is any good, but I kind of want to play it. We can get 6 red mana. So I can Manamorphose and double blue. I'll have 1 red left over. So I'm going to Desperate Ritual. I'm doing this so I can cast a ritual after casting Niv-Mizzet. I don't know if that actually matters, but float blue. We get a Sea Beyond. Play Niv. Cast a ritual. We draw, ping our opponent. Add 3 red, but we can't do anything with it. Pass the turn. Maybe I should have left that other Manamorphose on top. Hopefully my opponent doesn't just have, like, Bolt. Okay, they make us exile. That's fine. Maybe they just think we're some weird Niv-Mizzet Perrin deck, right? If he survives, we're going to be drawing a ton of cards, so we can take care of, like, anything our opponent plays in the condition that Niv survives. We're not blocking. It's really important that Niv survives. Burst Lightning, we draw. Ping our opponent. Lightning Bolt, we draw. Ping our opponent. And I could have killed their Magus of the Moon, but I don't think it was that important to have killed it. We untap and draw Dragonstorm. So play a Mountain, play Electromancer, Sea Beyond, put back Dromoka, pass the turn. Next turn we're going to play a whole bunch of cost reducers. That's the plan anyway. They make us exile a card, we don't care. They attack for 2. We'll risk them having 3 lightning bolts. They play a land. They put Obosh in hand. We untap. We draw Dragonlord Kolagon. That is less than ideal. That is a pretty critical part of the combo. Play Sleight of Hand. Take Pyretic Ritual. Play another Electromancer. Pass the turn. I might just have to end up Dragonstorming for Dromoka alone. So opponent is going to play Obosh. They play a land. They play Obosh. They attack. Yeah. I have to block or we're dead to a single lightning bolt. Another relic. Make us exile, that's fine. Make us exile, that's fine. We untap. Draw Peer. So everything's cost is reduced by 1 right now. So we'll go ahead and Peer. Let's see. How much mana do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This costs 8. So I can take Manamorphose, and that will get me up to enough mana to Dragonstorm. So Manamorphose into blue, play Shivan Reef, Pyretic Ritual. Can I play Baral here? I have 9 mana. Yeah, I can play Baral. Play Baral, Dragonstorm, but we're holding Kolagon. So get Dromoka, get a Tarka, and if we had Kolagon, we'd win, but we don't. So we have to pass. Yep, no dragon permanent. Fail to find, fail to find, fail to find. Pass the turn. The good news is if we get to attack next turn, they're dead. Opponent exiles the graves and draw. But if they have Lightning Bolt, we die, and they have a bunch of redraws to hit it. What I don't understand is why my opponent played another Spikefield Cave. Like, that represents 2 damage at least. And when we're at 9, it would seem like that much would really matter. Okay, my burn opponent with an active Obosh has 4 cards in hand. And I am at 9 life. I've gotta be dead, right? Block with Electromancer. Okay. They bolt Dromoka, stomp Dromoka, and then cast Bone Crusher. So I need to draw Manamorphose. That is not Manamorphose. Go to combat, attack them for 12. Wait a minute, 6 plus 4. That was 10 damage! We were dead! All I put it to do is shoot us! Why? Have we just been dead this whole time and my opponent's like, let's see what else they've got. See if they'll reveal any more information. Yeah, my opponent just had us dead. Okay, this time they might have figured it out. Block here. This way we take 6 instead of 8. We go to 3. Okay. Okay. I don't agree with that, but okay. Leyline of Sanctity, Weather the Storm in. Let's go a single sleight of hand to Serum Visions, Peer, another sleight of hand, Niv-Mizzet, Goblin Electromancer, and my Confusion out. Well, if we draw a single extra land, this is fantastic. So we're going to keep Leyline of Sanctity. But it plays a mountain and passes. We draw a Gemstone Mine. There's the land I was hoping for. Play Gemstone Mine, pass. Opponent plays a mountain. We draw a Fiery Islet. Play Gemstone Mine, pass. Opponent plays a mountain. Rampaging Ferocidon. Okay. Play a Fiery Islet. I am a ritual away from casting Dragonstorm. So let's Serum Visions. We draw Ironcrag Feet. Does that win? Mana Confluence to the bottom. Does Ironcrag Feet win here? No, I would need one more mana than I have. Manamorphose to the bottom. We'll go ahead and See Beyond. Putting back Electromancer. Pass the turn. And I think next turn I've got it without Brawl. Opponent plays Blast Zone. Attacks us for 3. We just have to not draw Kolaghan. Or any of the dragons, really. They put Obosh in their hand. We draw Pyretic Ritual. That's gotta do it, right? Yeah, we don't even need to play or risk Brawl. So Ritual, 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 Ironcrag Feet, Dragonstorm. Now we just have to do this in the proper order. Get Dramoka. Opponent can't cast spells. Get Kolaghan. Take a damage. And get a Tarka. Then fail to find. Fail to find. Go to combat. Kill our opponent. I can't believe we won that. Opponent definitely had us dead in game 1, and they were like, big scary life-linking dragon, kill! I mean, that's how I play Burn. If I saw a big scary life-linking dragon, I would throw lethal damage at it and not my opponent. Okay, so a few things to keep in mind. I do not recommend playing this in the current metagame versus Blitz, or any of the other decks right now. So, if you're going to play Dragonstorm, you need to play a less painful mana base. That means maxing out on Gemstone Mines. I'm trying to think of what other effective rainbow land. Reflecting Pool would be a huge deal. Fiery Islet should probably be your only pain land, which means you want to be playing Shivan Reefs, you want to be playing Spire Bluff Canals, you want to be playing lands like that that don't cost you life. Probably want to be playing a couple more islands, a couple more mountains. That would be the first adjustment that I would see for the current metagame. Second adjustment is definitely the sideboard. Probably drop a Niv-Mizzet for maybe either a third Weather the Storm or more actual like lightning bolts, creature removal. I definitely think the Abrades ought to be like Rip Aparts or even Naturalize, Natural State, that sort of thing. Because we need better interaction with opponents' hate spells like Damping Sphere and stuff that we don't have right now. Leyline of Sanctity actually was really good the few times that we had it. The fact that we had the rainbow mana meant we could actually cast it, and if that was relevant at least one time. I don't think it ended up winning us the game, but it mattered. And yeah, I do want to work on this list some more. I have a couple of other ideas on how to make it work, but I really like this list. It's one of my favorite lists I've ever brewed up. Oz, thank you for requesting this. I hope you enjoyed. I know that the deck didn't perform as well as I had hoped, but I still enjoyed playing it today, so if you guys enjoyed this content, you want to see more like it, please leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe to the channel if you're so inclined. And remember, you can follow me on Twitch. Same username over there as you find me on here. I stream Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The last few have been earlier. And yeah, you're all wonderful human beings, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye! Hey, just wanted to give a shout out to my patrons for the month of May. If you want to support my channel directly and have your name show up in this list, there's a link to my Patreon in the description down below. Thank you all.